Hi everybody, welcome to my channel From Gratitude to Greatness. Today I decided to start my spring a little bit early. I'm gonna plant some seeds indoors today. I just am craving my garden. So I thought I'd start early and have you follow along. So it's wonderful the way gardening is. You plant something small and then it just grows bigger and bigger and you watch it grow. And maybe one day my YouTube channel will grow. It's starting from nothing, and maybe it will grow and blossom into something. So hopefully that will happen. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my spinach seeds, but I have some Miracle-Gro dirt right down here. And yes, I'm in my kitchen. I should be outside, but I just thought I'd rather be inside today. It's so foggy and gloomy out today. Living by the water sometimes has its drawbacks. Yeah, the fog is... last night when I came home from Seattle, it was so dark with just the fog. You could barely see a couple of feet in front of you. Okay, so getting my dirt here, but I love to garden, and I think now is a good time for everybody to begin, even just with, a couple pots in your windowsill if you have an apartment, or a hydroponic system. You can get small hydroponic systems on Amazon. But anyway, spinach is one of my favorite vegetables. My dad used to grow a ton of spinach, but it wasn't the regular kind. It was called New Zealand spinach, and that's my favorite. This kind that I have here came in a packet that my husband bought me with a bunch of seeds. It's not New Zealand, but it'll still be good. So anyway, getting all my dirt in here. And they say gardening, it brings you closer with earth, and you always need to be tethered down to the earth. So it's a great thing to ground yourself. Get your head out of the clouds and get down to earth. Going barefoot in the grass or the sand is a wonderful way to ground yourself. Remember, I don't know if you watched, gosh, it wasn't Naked and Afraid. It was something else with two guys who wandered around in the mountains, and one of them was always barefoot. He never wore shoes, no matter what. And he was one with the earth. But anyway, so I have all my soil in my little planting box here. Pat it down just a little bit. And I'm gonna use little tweezers because the seeds are tiny, and that way I can just put one in each. Maybe I'll probably put two in each little square here. Last year I planted carrots in I have these gigantic planter boxes that my husband built me, so I wouldn't have to bend down on my knees or anything. I could just be at this level, and they're gigantic. And so one part of one I planted carrots, but the carrot seeds were so tiny, and I wasn't using tweezers, so I had like carrots all together with each other. But you know what? I still have carrots in my garden right now. Someone who's helping out in the garden area right now, he pulled me up like a half of a large bucket of them the other day. So I'm trying to clean them up and figure out what to do with them all. I guess I'm gonna freeze some. I might make some in vinegar and can them. I'm not really in the mood to can right now though. So anyway, I'm putting two seeds in into my potting soil. I'll just do one row of spinach seeds, and then I'll go on to the next one. But yeah, as our food sources get more contaminated, it's just a wonderful idea to grow at least something of your own. Lettuce is a big one that is always getting recalled. And there's one particular farm that I can think of that produces so much, and they're always getting recalled. So I think lettuce, leafy vegetables are a good thing that are quite easy just to plant, you know, a bit. You can plant in your house and put outside as it gets warmer, or just on your windowsill if you have an apartment or no garden space. But yeah, so I have my row of spinach seeds planted. Yay! Okay, so I have my row of spinach, the very first row here, and I'm gonna mark it so I know what is there. And I have a whole bunch of wine corks. They were my sister-in-law was saving them for years, so she had a ton of them, and I took a great big old pan of them and haven't made anything with them yet. So what we're gonna do is stick the cork on the end of my toothpick here, like this, and that will be my marker. I'm gonna write spinach on it. Spinach. There we go. Now I know what's there. And you got a spray bottle. You don't want to really pour water in there because your dirt can flood all out. So I'm just going to lightly spray. There we go. And then I'm going to get some green leaf. Now, all of my seeds were organically grown here in the United States. So that's nice. Non-GMO. Oh my gosh, these ones are so tiny. So tiny, tiny, tiny. Anyway, I'll put a couple little holes in my, well, actually I don't even need to put holes. They're so tiny, I will just push them down. So I have my tweezers here. Yeah, you really need tweezers. Oh, I don't even know if I got one. They're so tiny. So there we go. One seed. It's another seed. Oh, but fresh lettuce out of the garden, you just can't really beat that. It tastes so much different than, you know, it just tastes so much more fresh than when you buy it in the store. It's just, I hate if you get like bugs out there in the garden, or slugs. I don't really get slugs here. At my old house where I grew up, we always had a ton of slugs. And we had ducks and geese. And when I was a little girl, my dad would give me a stick and make me go poke all the slugs and just line them up like a skewer on a stick and then feed them to the ducks and geese. And it was a real treat. We had tons of them. Here we get snails, pesky little things. But since my beds are raised, I don't get too many, and I can just surround the outside rim where the wood is with something that attracts them to keep them away from my leafy greens. But I do get, you know, sometimes like some little bugs, and I just make a little mixture with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, a tiny bit of Dawn liquid, and water, and you can spray the leaves, and that helps keep the pesky little bugs away. So there I have my green leaf lettuce. And that, you know what? When I was young and lived at home with my parents, in the summertime, we would eat this wilted green leaf salad. Actually, it was red leaf salad. So my mom would fry up bacon and then add like some onions to it, a little bit of white onion, just a little bit of white onion, and vinegar, red wine vinegar, and like a teaspoon or so of sugar. And the lettuce would be all ripped up in pieces, and then she put the bacon on top of the lettuce and then pour the hot, well, it was with bacon fat and vinegar over the salad, and it would wilt up. And I could just eat so much of that. Oh, I ate like bowls and bowls of it, but it was really, really wonderful. I have, you know, good memories growing up with a garden. My dad had the largest garden in the neighborhood. It was quite impressive, and he worked so hard at his job every day, working heavy equipment operator. And then he'd come home and he'd garden. On the weekends he'd garden. He'd make me pull the weeds. When it came time to harvesting fruit and vegetables, I would always have to take the peas out of the pea pods, the green peas, and I ate half of them. They're so good. But the weeding, I hated doing that. I really didn't like working in the garden at all, but he taught me a lot. Now I can plant everything and harvest my own food, you know, summer till fall. And even now in the winter I have carrots and kale. So I learned a lot from my dad, and I'm so grateful for that. Okay, I made my handy dandy little cork, green leaf. I'm gonna stick that right in. Next I have broccoli seeds. Broccoli's another great vegetable. Up until this year, I didn't realize that you could cut off one stalk of broccoli and more would grow. The year before, I just pulled out the whole stalk, and that was it. But mine produced all summer long into the fall this year, and I just cut like one piece off at a time, and then I grew more. So anyway, broccoli makes a wonderful salad. Another salad my mom used to make: steam the broccoli, chill the broccoli down, then chop up a fresh tomato from your garden and a little bit of red onion, and then make a mixture of a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper in with some mayonnaise and lemon juice, and use that as your dressing. And then you have a nice cool summer salad, so you don't always need to eat it hot. You know, broccoli always makes a good quiche, frittata, broccoli cheddar soup. Not so healthy, but it's tasty. Anyway, there's my broccoli. It's gonna give it a little squirt. So I planted a few more things. I planted basil, another kind of green leaf lettuce, and butter lettuce. So one thing about planting, you know, it teaches us patience. It teaches us, you know, just how important the earth and our land actually is. Think about the farmers that we have. Well, we have a lot of farmers here in Washington, where I live. There are raspberry farms, blueberries, corn, a lot of corn, strawberries, potatoes, but then a lot of other crops as well. And then the Midwest. And the farmers are really suffering, you know, with the prices of their fertilizer, you know, going up, and You got to feel for the farmers that put food on our table. It's sad that they're selling their farms and we're going to have less and less farmland. So, you know, I hope that what you can take from me is that any little bit you can grow yourself, you know, it's going to help you save a little bit of money for your pocket, if you have any left with the price of groceries these days. But you have to be grateful, you know, as you plant your seeds, grateful, and just feel it with your heart. You know, it's something that's growing. The roots are growing into the earth. You know, it's life. It's not human life, but it's life, and we need it for nourishment. It gives us life. So we should take care of our land. You see a piece of garbage, any kind of garbage, you know, pick it up. Carry a bag with you when you're out on a little hike or at the park, and pick up any garbage you find around. Maybe it's not farmland, but you know, it can blow into a waterway or onto, you know, farmland. Be careful with chemicals. I live by a slough that flows to and from the bay here where I live. And so I don't use any kind of chemicals on anything. I spray a mixture of vinegar and water and Dawn soap on my weeds around the yard during, you know, on a sunny day, and that usually shrivels up the weeds right away. But care for our land, be grateful, you know. You know what I even do with my garden and my plants, which I'll do right now? I might take a crystal. Some people might not believe in this, but crystals carry energy. Different stones carry energy. And I might put this right on the edge of my planter box there. And I play Native American music for my plants and my garden. Native American music with the drumming and the flute. And I think that really really brings them to life. I really, really do. And, you know, some of you might think, oh God, that's strange. But, you know, the Native Americans always grew their crops, and, you know, they just worship the land, and we should care more for our land. So anyway, this is what I'm growing. I'm planting for right now, and I will bring you back with my next round. So now I found another Christmas present that I got, and these are something I've never seen before, but they have little grow lights that you stick on the top like this, and then you can adjust the airflow inside for more condensation. Close it, open it for more air, and then I have a little plug that I can plug all of them into. So it's kind of handy dandy. We'll see what it's like. So I found, look, I found my big bag of seeds that I had in my closet. Was looking everywhere for them. So I'll plant one and just show you how my little lights work. We can see together what they do. So here I have my dirt. Anyway, and I found my basil seeds, which basil is really important. I just use it in salads. Like I tear some off and mix it up with the lettuce. And also I make like an Italian salad dressing, and I chop up basil in my food processor and mix it with Italian dressing. Then it's really really basil-y, because I love basil. And when I have so much, then I make pesto and freeze it. Pesto you can add to your pasta sauces. You can add to, sometimes I rub it on meat. I rub it on, not rub it, I use it in like stuffed zucchini. And then of course there's caprese salad, caprese skewers. I make a skewer with like a little cherry tomato, fresh mozzarella ball, and basil, and then a little balsamic reduction on. It's a nice little hors d'oeuvre on a skewer. So there's so much you can do. So you got to grow tomatoes and basil in your garden. Great salads, and it adds so much freshness to everything. So okay, there we go. Here's my basil seeds. I don't know. I'm recording vertically, so my eyes for some reason keep pointing this way. My camera's this way, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. So my eyes will look weird, but you know, I'm still learning. And I really appreciate you being here with me and hanging out, and it gives me something to do, you know, now that I'm not working, and you know, just hanging out in my house. So I just have to learn to speak better in front of the camera. I get a little flustered, but you know, I didn't do it when I was young, but it's never too late to start something new, try something new. So I'm urging others that, you know, are a little bit older like me to try something new. One night I went out with my husband. He goes to the American Legion sometimes, and he loves to sing karaoke. We've been married, it will be 19 years this year. And for all of these years, ever since I've known him, he's always loved to sing karaoke. And he's never gotten me up there to sing karaoke. So, but the other day, well, actually not the other day, in December, I went with him, and he talked me into singing a song with him. And it was a Christmas song. So I got up there and I sang. And then guess what? It wasn't so bad. Even though my voice is awful, I got up there and I sang probably 3 more songs, and I got more cheers than he did. Even though they were just cheering me on because they knew that I was a little self-conscious about getting up there and my voice. I have like a horrible voice singing. Even talking, I feel like my voice is like, I don't know, squeaky, doesn't sound very professional, but anyway, it's my voice, so I'm using it. Okay, so I have my basil seeds in there. Oh, nice. Now where's my squirt bottle? Here's my squirt bottle. So every day I'm just gonna give a little bit of squirts of water to all of the things I planted. Maybe twice a day, depending on how dry they get. I'm gonna put the little lid on. I'll just do one so you don't get bored. And let's plug this in here. Let's see what happens. Ah! There we go. Can you see? There's a light. It's kind of bright in here, so I can't see, but it came on and then off. So those are kind of cute little things. I don't know where my husband got these. He got them online someplace, but anyway, those are kind of cute. So anyway, on to the next thing. So I'm gonna take you out here and show you my garden areas. So here's one, and this is where the cucumbers can crawl up the sides. And peas, if I like. They can crawl up the sides. At the end of each flower bed, I have, well, this is lavender. It got cut down a little bit low. And then I have dahlias along the bottom here at the end, so the bees come. Here we have strawberries. This is my patch of raspberries right there, and a cherry tree. Along this edge, you can't really tell, there's blueberries. This is thyme, and then I had a few, no, that's not thyme. That's where I planted a few onions. This is thyme and strawberries there. More strawberries. Right there, flowers. Here's more lavender to attract the bees. There's some more lavender and lavender at the other end as well. And then along the edge over here, I have a wire, some wood with wire so that peas can crawl up. So I had sugar peas and snap peas. This is where I plant tomatoes. Here I have rosemary and lemon balm and sage. And then I had a few more tomatoes and carrots. And then here, gladiolas. There's gladiola bulbs here, along here, to attract bees. This is going to be flowers, always more flowers. Right here, gladiolas along the edge for more bees. And then in here, I plant zucchini and yellow squash. There, I have a whole bunch of mint. And there's up there in the trees for mason bees. And then all down here, this needs to be really weeded out before spring. Blueberries. And there's blueberries that go up there, but you can't really see them. And this is a mixed apple tree. It has 3 different kinds of apples on it. So here's the slough. A lot of ducks and geese in there, and two blue heron hang out. They sit on top of this tree times, but their main place they stand is over there in the corner. And then there's trails so you can walk around through the wetlands. And then way over there's the beach. I can see it from my kitchen window. Anyway, it's sunny from sunrise to sunset here, so the gardens get plenty of sun. Here I have a couple of rose bushes, and then up here is a little area with grapes, and it's really nice because the grape leaves and the grapes hang down. And then there's a little sitting area right here. My little bear. Anyway, that's my garden here. These are lilacs right there. So it's a nice area. The homes are a little bit close together for me. I'd rather have a large area and a smaller house, but anyway, nice to plant out here. So grateful for my gardens. My husband and a couple of his friends built those for me, so I don't have to like get on my knees. Very nice. Finally, the fog went away today. Here I have 2 plants called Bergmansias. They're the trumpet flowers that smell really nice in the evening. My dad started these from small little seedlings. He used to grow them and sell them just for a hobby. But last year, gosh, on one plant, one of these, I had like 24 flowers. at a time in bloom, and every evening when I'd walk outside, they smell so good. But I might make some starts off of these, so I have a few more. But my dad was always really good at growing, you know. Grateful again for him teaching me everything that I know. Now my seeds are all planted here with my handy dandy little pots, little planters, not pots, but anyway, these little ones with the little lights, they're pretty nifty. I guess my husband got them at Walmart, so they're about $19 if you want to ever get some. But pretty nice day out right now. Anyway, thank you for joining me today while I planted and letting me share my garden space with you. I'm so grateful you tuned in, and hopefully you'll get going on your planting a little bit early this year.